very heart-wrenching that our neighbors, right now it's just wanting to make sure that all of our neighbors are made it out, all the animals are safe. It's a very tragic situation.
At least 3 people are dead after a small plane crashed into a row of townhomes in Fairview. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Adams. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is telling us there are actually 2 main crash areas after pieces of the plane apparently began to break off after it hit a power pole. We have team coverage for you tonight. Our Sydney Dorner and Celine Stevens are in Fairview right now near the crash site. Sydney spoke with neighbors about the crash, but first, Celine, what's the latest?
John, that's right. It's been almost 10 hours since that small plane crashed into townhomes here in Fairview. And as you can see behind me, the scene is still very active. Go ahead and take a look. We still have Multnomah County Sheriff's Office on scene, as well as Portland Fire and Rescue, and also crews working to repair those power lines after the plane hit it. Now, 2 people were on board the plane, and 1 person was also reported missing from the home. And now Gresham Fire tells me that 3 people have been confirmed dead.
Well, that aircraft went down about 2 miles southwest of the field.
Attention all aircraft, just stand by.
Just before 10:30 Saturday morning, a small plane crashed into townhomes in Fairview, causing a 5-alarm fire to spread to multiple units and leaving debris scattered all over the area.
When we go to 5 alarms, we're talking almost 20 engines, ladder trucks, 5 or 6 chief officers, and a bunch of ancillary equipment.
The crash site, only a few miles away from Troutdale Airport.
Initial report says that there were 2 occupants on the airplane, and we're missing 1 residential occupant from the condo unit.
As for other injuries, Gresham Fire Department also said 2 people were treated by medics on scene. The Federal Aviation Administration also confirmed in a statement that 2 people were on board the plane and stated they and the National Transportation Safety Board are investigating the crash.
November 421 Golf Bravo, can you land runway 7?
Officials say it's unknown where the plane took off from or what caused the crash. That crash also caused around 9,000 customers to lose power.
At some point during the crash, it hit a power pole or tower, causing it to fall over. And so the power lines fell into a field of some sort and started a brush fire.
Service was restored around 3 in the afternoon, but residents in the surrounding area were evacuated, with the damage leaving some displaced.
As soon as Red Cross gets here, they will be helping with housing. So right now, we're making sure they're in shade, they're getting something to drink, they're getting the emotional support, and their family members have a clear way to get to them so they can hang on to each other. After this, then comes all the questions on what next.
Now, although 3 people have been confirmed dead, Gresham Fire could not confirm whether those were the 2 people on board the plane and 1 person that was being reported missing from the home. Now, the National Transportation Safety Board asked that if you have any information or were witness to the crash or any surveillance video, to contact them at witness@ntsb.gov. John, back to you.
All right, Celine, thank you. Continuing our team coverage tonight, Sydney Dorner spoke with neighbors who saw and felt this all unfold. Sydney, what did they tell you?
Well, John, when we first got here, we were right behind the row of homes that were hit by the small plane. Firefighters were still actively manning the fire, and neighbors were still in shock, saying they felt the impact and even saw the plane take down power lines. A loud boom.
Up here on fire, we still have heavy fire coming through the roof and extending to the next unit.
Disturbing people in a small neighborhood in northeast Fairview.
It was a pretty big impact.
One neighbor that was a fairly close neighbor said the explosion shook him out of his chair.
John Sampson was working on his way to his next job, never expecting to witness the minutes after a plane crash.
The wings that were sideways and went into the condominiums.
Hitting power lines on the way down.
It was a pretty big power line, so they weren't sure if it was going down and hit the power lines or if the power lines caused the accident. But then it sheared one of the wings off.
Quickly starting a fire that spread through a row of homes.
When we got there, it was 1.5, and it was about 4 probably by the time they got it slowed down. But they had about every engine, I think, in Portland there.
When we arrived on scene, 2 people in the plane and 1 person in the home were still unaccounted for, worrying neighbors like Andrea Cox, who lives right behind where the crash erupted.
Very heart-wrenching that our neighbors, right now it's just wanting to make sure that all of our neighbors are made it out, all the animals are safe. It's a very tragic situation.
Sampson says you could feel the pain and shock of the neighborhood as they took the scene in.
There's a lot of people crying. A lot of the neighbors were just beside themselves. They had their hands over their face, and it's pretty sad.
You got fire in the garage below you.
It kind of makes it all real when you see the damage.
Now PGE will be assessing the damage as soon as they can safely access their equipment. John, back to you.
Sydney, thank you. What a terrifying and tragic scene.